Mike's Daily Podcast.
I am completely prepared for today's program because it's called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I haven't done a show in a while because it's that crazy November week where I get my birthday and then there's Thanksgiving and then I go eek. I gotta prepare for the 5 days in advance because that's my life. It's a dance. Life's a dance. You learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes
Mike's Daily Podcast.
you follow. And it's one of those days where I am now going to
Mike's
stop singing because
Daily
my name is Mike
Podcast.
and this is the podcast that I do. But I was interrupted this week, so it was not completely daily, I must admit. And the podcast picture today, I'm so the last one involved me in it, so we'll not do that this time and give you a break, even though it was my birthday and it's my podcast, and maybe it should just be all me all the time. Wouldn't that be a gas? But no, instead it will be a picture of some nice sunset. How about that? That we'll do that on this Thanksgiving because I am thankful. I am thankful for my wonderful friends, and you should live your life thanks living in a perpetual thanks living event and enjoying that. And you should appreciate your friends and the people in your life who say, Mike, we're still your friend, even though you kind of irritated us the other day. We still love you. Although you shouldn't be really irritating all the time. In fact, I'm currently watching a mandatory video that everyone in the workplace has to watch these days if you're in California. And that would be...
And here's today's podcast picture.
One of those harassment videos. And it's a video where I'm watching and saying, you can't do this and you can't do that. And not that I would do that, but you can't do it. And you can't do the other thing. And you shouldn't do this and that and the other. And the podcast picture is of a sunset. And that's what you're going to see. Oh, and you shouldn't do this and that. In California, we have so many rules that you have to live in a box and think inside a box is how you have to do. Think inside the box. Isn't that right, Basil the Boxer? The late, great Basil the Boxer, everybody. Last year was my first Thanksgiving without him. It really hurt. Anyway, cafe anyway. And this brought to you by the word anyway. No, that's Seth Meyers' thing. Have you noticed a lot of discussion lately about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and even Mr. Matt Damon promoting cryptocurrency? And the thing is, I think it has to do with the fact that today is Thanksgiving. Maybe not when you're listening to this, but for me at this moment, it is Thanksgiving. And about 3 years ago, for some reason, Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, shot through the roof. People who had bought Bitcoin the day before became instant millionaires if they sold it the next day. It was huge. So maybe that's why all this discussion going on about it. And it got me to wondering about Footloose. Well, not that specifically, but it got me wondering in general about things. And I was thinking about Footloose. Maybe that sentence isn't entirely true, but I am using it to connect to the movie Footloose, not Facebook, which I am interested in Facebook, actually. Because you know what yours truly has not done yet, even though my birthday was on Monday and today now is Thursday, I have not yet looked at my Facebook. And why that is important is because back in the olden days, when Facebook was like, oh, cool, now instead of it being like a place for old people to go and die, Seriously, do you really go to Facebook all the time? You really need to rethink your life because it's done. It's over with. And if you're trying to keep this thing a-burning, look, I only go to it because I use it to promote the podcast. I have my own selfish reasons. But if it's something that you do all the time, yikes. So I'm looking at it now. Oh, wow. 23 people talked. I was not expecting that. 23 people to wish me a happy birthday. Wow. At one point, I really cared about that, but now it appears that I use it to see how many people are still losers on Facebook, which I know is the cattle calling the cow black. Is that the expression? By the way, I'm rethinking all my expressions that I use over and over again. Like I use the expression all of a sudden, which my mom, whose birthday was yesterday, and we were discussing that. And seriously, the Facebook is a place for people to go and die. And I swear, people who post who say happy birthday to you on Facebook, and all they do is say happy birthday. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is pretty pathetic. I'm looking at the usual suspects. Oh, this one's a nice one. Wishing you a great day and a year filled with happiness and great adventure. I hope you are doing well. Well, that's nice. I'll be cynical and say that they say that to everybody, but whatever. So my mom says all of a sudden. And I was like, what does that even mean? All of a sudden? Like how many sentences do you start where you say all of a day? You could say all at once. Wasn't that a song by Peter Cetera? And no, wait. No, that was the Whitney Houston, All at Once. She had a song called All at Once. With Peter Cetera and Cher had not Just Once. That was James Ingram. It was After All. That's what I'm thinking of. Oh my gosh, the people that wished me a happy birthday, I don't know any of these people. 23 people. Wow. Oh, my cousin. I had a cousin in Germany wish me a happy birthday. That's cool. Oh, and there's this one guy who always says, have a blessed week of origin. Every year he says that. Well, I guess it's good. It means he's still alive. But wow. Oh, here's somebody I worked with in Alabama. Enjoy your special day. Okay. All right, that was exciting. Happiest of birthdays, Mike. Somebody did a nice little drawing thing. That's very cool. All right. I'm going to just say that. Just a learning experience. Why should you still be using Facebook? Is there any good reason for it? And what is the origin of some of these weird expressions that we say, like all of a sudden? You know, instead of saying all of a sudden, you could just say suddenly. There's a nice word for that that's already in existence. Suddenly. But apparently LifeWire had a reason for why you should use Facebook. And they said mainly it's good for marketing. All right. And then there's 10 reasons why people use Facebook. And that one of them is they can't remember someone's birthday. Some people feel it's their duty to write a comment and like a post every day. Or it's a voyeuristic thing. They like to see what other people are doing. And then other reasons include maybe you like Footloose, which was the original word I was trying to use. And Footloose, I had not seen the movie all the way before. And Kevin Bacon, I was trying to remember, what are all the movies that Kevin Bacon has done? Has he had a rich career? I mean, he must, because we have that 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing where we're all related to Kevin Bacon. But let's see, he did The Following, Hollow Man, Tremors. Let's see, Death Sentence, Sleepers, Mystic Rit, Murder in the First. I remember that. I remember that being just really unsettling. A Few Good Men. Oh, I forgot about National Lampoon's Animal House. That's right, he's super young in that. Wild Things. Quicksilver. Yes, where he's the bicyclist messenger guy. And it had that song. That was his attempt to try and have another album to be the figurehead for a movie where the album had a bunch of hits. Footloose had a bunch of hits. It had Kenny Loggins had 2 big songs, of course, Footloose, and then I'm Free. Not I'm All Right. That was Caddyshack. Then there was Shalimar with Dancing in the Sheets, and Denise Williams had Let's Hear It for the Boy, Almost Paradise, Mike Reno, and Ann Wilson of Heart. Interesting thing about all those songs in that movie is the versions you hear in the movie, I think except for the Shalimar song, none of them are the album versions. When you go and buy the album, they're completely different versions from, well, not completely different, but you can totally hear the differences going on. And I think why that happens is they need to get the movie out. They pretty much, these music projects happen really fast, and the musicians, especially in the 80s, didn't have the time to give it the full production value. Nowadays, you can get full production value pretty easily with all the digital equipment. But back then it was, so stuff was still in process. And you hear that a lot with 80s movies. He was also in She's Having a Baby. Kevin Bacon was in She's Having a Baby. And I believe the actress from that also went on to be in the Downton Abbey. Crazy Stupid Love. He did that later on. And wow, there's quite a few that he's done. But and He Said, She Said. I remember that. But there you go. We're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. That I wanted to get to that. And there was something else that had to do with how we view movies today and what we're getting from movies. And I cannot remember, darn. It was something that woke me up in the middle of the night. I have not been sleeping well. This time of year with all the adjustments, the time change, the weather change, doesn't it mess you up? We talked about how you're supposed to help yourself get used to the time change and all that. I think we did that last podcast. But it is difficult. So it's Thanksgiving. I did not get to hang out with my friends today because I had something else going on. I had to leave. But I'm going to maybe have a little bit of turkey. All of this excitement over turkey. Isn't that something? We get all excited. And when do we eat turkey the rest of the year? Maybe in a sandwich. But, I mean, do you like to cook the turkey? It is a very involved animal because you got all those little bones. And you've got all the it has to cook for a while, the giblets and whatnot. And then we all go crazy for it this one day a year. And then, okay, maybe on Thanksgiving. A Christmas. Then maybe on Easter as well. But we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley, where, oh my gosh, look at this huge turkey Madame Rootabega has just shown up with. Hello, Michael Master, it's Madame Rootabega. And yes, I brought the turkey. Thank you for spoiling the surprise. Oh, yes. That's a wonderful turkey. Did you make it yourself? Yes. Do you want me to have some? Yes. Where's the cranberry sauce? Do you have that? No. No cranberry sauce. Sad. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, it's really sad that you couldn't remember the thing that had to do with Kevin Bacon Day.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. Do you know that? It was the fact, well, my lovely lady friend and I, when watching Footloose, there's a couple of violent scenes where there's punching. A woman gets hit in this movie, and they just sort of gloss over it. It's pretty unsettling. Didn't realize that was in Footloose. I thought Footloose was going to be completely something else. I had heard, oh yeah, it's about how a town doesn't allow dancing because someone died. And I thought it was going to be like his girlfriend dies, so he feels bad, and then he has to deal with that. I thought it was going to be that kind of a drama. Instead, that the teenager death happens off screen. We find out about it through people talking about it. And then there's a lot of men dance together quite often, very closely. I thought there was going to be some romance happening between Kevin Bacon and the cowboy guy, but that didn't happen. And then there's Barbara Wiest, who I loved from Bullets Over Broadway, and she was in Parenthood, wasn't she? Gosh, she was in so much stuff in the 80s and 90s. I think she worked a lot with Woody Allen, too. And then Laurie Singer, who was in the TV show Fame, and she did a couple other things. But has she ever promoted cryptocurrency? I don't think so. Look who else is here. This is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Oh yeah, we got to you already. So I guess we're pretty much done. Yeah, we're done. Do you know that? Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. It was good to talk to you again. Perhaps at some point I will get a piece of paper and write down these thoughts when they come into my mind originally, so I can discuss them with you later at a later time. That would be good. That would be advantageous to us all. But yes, be careful out there on the streets. If you're driving around on the day after Thanksgiving, it'll be a little busy. It was so busy on Wednesday in the afternoon on the roads around the Bay Area. But interestingly enough, around 8 o'clock at night, it was so quiet. I got home so fast. I drive from Fremont to Podcastro Valley, and it was a quick little ride. So it's interesting is trying to outthink the herd, trying to not think like everybody else and do it your own way and coming up with your own expressions, because some of the ones that you use are outdated and mean nothing anymore all of a sudden. But next show, Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer, and you can listen to my little radio show. I'm going to be on a special time, the Black Friday edition, tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m., and there's a link to the radio station where you can listen to it at mikesdailypodcast.com. Chime in about anything we covered today. 336mm daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has not been, but we'll try to do again. Okay, I got to get back to my sexual harassment video.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
And that was episode 2338. 2338. And if you want to catch the other ones, you can go to mikesdailypodcast.com.